there, my name is Celia Beck, and you, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So Screenrant. Screenrant's been on a bit of a Doctor Who roll of late, which is weird because they clearly have never seen the show or have any idea what it. Well, I've never seen. They probably saw a couple of David Tennant episodes or like know somebody who did, but they really know absolutely nothing about it. So look, my normal, go-to response is when we're talking about something I really don't know, like the history of Prussia from 1873 to 1892. I don't even know if Prussia was around then, if that was a country that, or European, like things I really don't know about. Oh, no, my sister is a professor of classics here in Israel. I know nothing about Homer and the Iliad. I mean, I know very little. So, I probably know as much about Homer and the Iliad as Screenrant knows about Doctor Who. So my go-to policy, which may be crazy, I don't know, is I generally speaking don't discuss things I have no idea about whatsoever. And I certainly don't go and write articles about it as well. What Screenrant? No, look, complete ignorance is not a barrier to entry for them. So good for them, I guess. So we're going to be reading this other stupid article. I think it's even more stupid than the one yesterday. Yesterday's article was all about how Doctor Who had never dealt with English racism. And I used on the thumbnail, I had a gazillion examples came to mind. I'm like, I remember the Daleks. What's his name? Ace seeing the no coloured sign in window, and it's just replete with like a gazillion million examples. Okay, a lot of time it's an allegory. I mean, the Daleks were really quite clearly, openly trying to represent a very certain National Socialist from Germany in the 1930s, like very clearly. So I can understand if you're really dumb and haven't seen Doctor Who before, you may think that. So this one's even dumber, okay? This is even dumber. It's 10 things about the early Doctors that would never fly today. And okay, well, I'm not going to spoil it. We're going to read it together so you can be as aghast as I am. I've thumbed through it. I haven't read the details yet. And every line I accidentally caught, my eyes didn't just roll into the back of my head. They did 360 black flip. It was insane. Fine. Before we get there though, can I ask you guys, can you hit the subscribe button? Thank you very much. I just broke 1,500 subscribers. Thank you. I'm really chuffed. I would say somewhat touched and honoured. Actually, I am. It's for, when people go and get awards in these bullcrap award ceremonies, they always say how honoured they are, and you know they're lying. When they're maybe at the Oscars, but when it's at the People Choice Blockbuster Awards, they're like, I'm so honoured. When they hold up the thing, I really am. It's being on the other side of the scale, having people subscribing is really nice. Thank you very much. If you subscribe to me, of course, there have been tales. There have been tales that I've been getting, and people who are subscribing have just, it's incredible blessings come upon them. They win the lottery. They get an incredible amount of magnetism. They are adored by people of the sex that they would like to be adored by, and they are feared and respected by their peers. I have heard many of these stories because he who blesses somebody who is blessed themselves becomes blessed. That is an ancient credo. Listen, results may vary. I don't know, but give it a try. Go ahead, give it a try. Click the subscribe button. Thank you very much. If you subscribe, of course, you can enter my weekly competitions, and this week's competition prize is another stonker. Stonker is a good thing, by the way. It is Judge Dredd, The Pit, which every time I hold this up, I'm a little bit disappointed because the cover isn't as good as the comic. The comic is really good. This is a great Judge Dredd story spanning about a year, where it's a collection of stories spanning about a year where Judge Dredd goes to a failing sector house and slowly turns the judges around. So you got all the sci-fi, shoot 'em up stuff, which I really like. And then, but you get all this interesting character stuff about judges as well that have led, let's say, emotionally stunted lives. So it's it's a great comic. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel, and in the comments leave the hashtag Judge DeMarco, JUDGEDE. Judge DeMarco. Go check the video notes, it's right there. Also in the video notes there's a download to a Judge Dredd audio story. It's really good. I really recommend this very highly. It's called Killing Zone. Go ahead and download it. It's made by a company called Big Finish, who are, generally speaking, they're going a bit woke nowadays, but generally speaking, they're very, very good. They're very good. They don't make it anymore. They don't have the license. It's out of print. You can't get it. So download and enjoy it. I would say if you do that, I really recommend it because it's really good. But if you have trouble downloading, just get in contact with me. I will help you out. If you do download and enjoy it, go over to Big Finish if they ever get the license back and buy a digital copy. Or spend $2.99 and buy any of the other gazillion things they have on $2.99, for download. Because basically they just put out good entertainment. You know who doesn't put out good entertainment? Screenrant. Screenrant is the anti-Viagra of entertainment. So let's read this story. People who just clearly know nothing about Doctor Who. Doctor Who, 10 things about the early days of the early Doctors that would never fly today. What do you say never fly today in like being, popular and entertaining? Yeah, okay. Non-preachy, not my thing. You want to shoot yourself in the face? Yeah, no. This image, by the way, is from a Big Finish play where it was a pretty good crossover of the first and second Doctors with the Daleks, which always add a bit of Dalek in, always makes it good. Because Doctor Who first aired at a time that was commonly held problematic ideas. Really? Okay. Second story said everything that you need to know about race relations relations with anyone really. It came out strongly against prejudice. When they described the Daleks, they were amusing about it. They said they had a dislike of the unlike. And honestly, I can think of nothing more representative, nothing more descriptive than the people who listen, not all of them. I do know a couple who actually genuinely like this era, but a lot of the people I see on Twitter, they just hate you. They just hate you if you don't share their worldview. Even about something like Doctor Who, because they kind of put it all together into one weird axis. I'm going to talk about this, a lot more on my live stream tonight. Oh, by the way, also coming up, more comic book reviews. This is a bit of a channel announcement. More comic book reviews. I just thought of two comics I really want to tell you about. Letter 44, really good one, and Manhattan Project. Also completely bonkers. So I'm doing more comic book reviews. If you want me to review any comics, just let me know. And if you're a comic skater, get in contact so I can, and send me your book so I can review it and promote it a little bit. That'd be nice. Fine. Doctor Who is the longest... Oh God, I just want to read this thing again. How problematic ideas. There are some things that the early doctors that wouldn't fly today. Let's see, shall we? Let's see what you're going to take out of context. Yeah, piece of filth. Doctor Who is the longest running science fiction drama of all time. Yeah, do you remember in the 90s when they tried, when Stargate said they got the Guinness World Record of being the longest running science fiction show? For some reason, it was some incredible... Listen, if you like Stargate, good for you. I tried to watch it and really never got into it. But it didn't run 26 years, which is what the original run of Doctor Who did. And they said, oh no, because it's in constant production. Sometimes they took a couple of weeks off. That's why. No. Yeah, fine. Doctor Who is longer running. We're back to that now. Good. Doctor Who has captured the audiences with its audacious and imaginative stories. It's Doctor Who, I'd say, something reasonably constant throughout its reign. It's always really been on the cutting edge of storytelling, of ideas. I think that's probably Colin Baker is when that happened the least. Maybe Peter Davison a little bit. It lost that edge, I think. And I love those eras. Don't get me wrong, I do love those eras. But it's always been like this white hot science. It's white hot at the edge ideas. All through its time, which is why it was so incredibly popular and remained popular. It's pretty much its entire run. Its entire time it's been on TV, it's been mostly popular. But being a fan of it in the 80s wasn't so popular. The Doctor has captured the audience, blah blah blah, following the titular Doctor as they travel through time and saves various planets from terrifying aliens, horrifying monsters, and evil, and even human evil. Okay, this guy's never seen it, right? So far, I think this guy's never seen it. However, any show that's been airing for over 50 years is bound to have some skeletons in the closet. Oh, screw you. Only if you're a moron. due to the fact that the show was airing at a time which certain problematic ideas were commonplace. Again, listen. The most sexist I can think Doctor Who ever actually got on screen is when Patrick Troughton asked Polly to make the tea, right? I mean, okay, the companions normally were, pretty girls, and is that sexist? I'm not sure. Listen, having some, having audience figures go up because you have some, an attractive woman, reasonably scantily clad. But within societal norms. Yeah, other than Perry, she was scantily clad, not in societal. There was nobody walking around in 1982 like that, and I'm very glad that they found the one person who did, and they put her on TV. Thank you very much. But yeah, normally speaking, the people, attractive people, both male and female, mainly female, walking around, looking nice. It doesn't strike me as being sexist, right? Look, you might come up with some other examples, but it seems to me. The only time I really think it was sexist, and even then, not really. Polly liked making tea. What's wrong with you? Let her make some bloody tea. It was probably ideas were commonplace. Like what? I mean, when did they ever come out against transgenderism? Say, F those fags. Then I don't remember William Hartnell saying that, right? I don't remember that going down. But okay. Fine, let's carry on. There were some things the show did in the past that would not be accepted today. Who cares? Firstly, who the hell cares? It's only being accepted in 2020. Who the hell cares? 2020 is if 2020 was a group of people. If 2020 was an office, right? And it was a co-worker you had in the office. You had like lots of different years, and each one was a person. 2020 would be the office arsehole, they would be the dick of the group. And not in a good way. So fine, number 10, poor special effects. I'm pushing back on this one straight bloody away. No, in its time, the effects were always above adequate, and oftentimes they were extraordinary. See, the great thing about the very early years, the first few years of Doctor Who is they wouldn't be scared at all about realizing something. So they had zero ability to realize. They would just crack their head and do it. So they very, very effectively created a Dalek invasion of the Earth, right? That was just absolutely wonderful. How did it work out with Web Planet, where they made a planet of giant ants and wasps? Not so bad, I really don't think that Doctor Who special effects has ever really been a problem up until a year or so after Star Wars came out. So the 80s, it did have a bit of a existential crisis, but I think it basically pulled out of that, especially by the end of the McCoy years, where they worked out how to lean into their strengths, right? But I would say, even the 80s. Look, Colin Baker's stories. Again, I do rank Colin Baker because that was really where it was, I think, the weakest. Some of those production values are just shocking. But again, some of them are remarkable. Was it Mind Warp, the Trial of the Time Lord second story with Sil and Kiv? I remember I went on a tour of the BBC around when they're making it, and they showed the computer, the graphics computer they did to like build the virtual set. A lot of that was a virtual sets, the rock backgrounds and everything. Honestly, I think I think it worked pretty darn well. You did get effects that didn't work. You got the not the Loch Ness Monster. Well, essentially was the Loch Ness Monster in Terror of the Zygon. Some things work, some things don't. But I don't think judging things in context, I think the special effects are as good or better than they were. It remains reasonably constant. This isn't a fault of the original show at all. In fact, the low production values on the show helped to create some of the show's most iconic monsters. After all, the Daleks have a toilet plunger and a whisk as their main weapons. Okay, this guy has never seen Doctor Who, has he? No, he bloody hasn't. However, there's no denying that even the Daleks would struggle to be accepted today without their iconic history. I tend to disagree with you. in the 90s when they were talking about an ambulance Doctor Who. I'm not sure if you saw it. There was some test footage of like this different type of Dalek, which looked kind of awful. And they were talking about spider Daleks, which I kind of thought was fun. I wish somebody would release a model kit of it. I did think the spider Daleks were kind of a fun idea. But when Rusty Davies brought back Doctor Who, he went for the most traditional Daleks, and that just worked. It's an iconic piece of design, and it still works today as much as it worked in 1963. I think people will still be like, what the hell's that? And the proof of that is, I think when a lot of people were introduced to it for the first time by Netflix in America, they were like, whoa, that's just crazy. I do disagree with you. So again, that's not even a special bloody effect, moron. That's a costume or a prop. If Doctor Who had similar level of special effects, it would have been ridiculed to King to Come. No, you're an arsehole. You're an arsehole. Abduction. So Abduction. I did a story yesterday about a Boba Fett comic where the blue checkmark Twitterati are really upset. They're really upset because Boba Fett was a meanie pants and he shot somebody, but the person he shot happened to be a black lesbian. And so here's the thing: they want complete representation. In fact, they don't want equal representation; they want total representation, right? They want complete representation of anything that's non-white male, like complete representation. But if you do anything dramatically to any of those characters, you get in trouble, because then you're being hateful to minorities, which basically means you get very bland shows. So Abduction. So I wonder, is Abduction something that's going to be allowed? Let's find out what the problem is. Okay, how women are treated in the media has changed dramatically over the last few decades. The down in distress trope has finally started to become a thing of the past. So again, it's because you can't put women in any danger, because then you're being hateful to women. And again, you just get boring TV, you get boring movies. A great success there. That you got rid of the damsel in distress is a really good dramatic trope. It's like, I think it's a primal. They want to say that men and women are identical. There's no difference between men and women. And listen, I think men and women should have absolutely especially in this world, every opportunity, every freedom of opportunity. You shouldn't be able. There's no it shouldn't be a barrier to entry, being male or female, to 99% of career choices, right? It shouldn't be okay. But men and women are fundamentally different at the same time, and. On a primal level. I think both men and women respond the best when a man is being protective of a woman. That is just the nature of masculinity and femininity. This is not to say one is superior, one is inferior, but this is a basic truth of humanity, of human nature, and you might not like it. I understand you might not like it, but it's still the truth. So I think having a woman be in distress because she's helpless and stupid and can't work it out, that would be bad. I can't really think of that happening so much in Doctor Who, right? I can think of world-conquering alien monsters trying to kill you, which I think you'll be pretty scared if you're a man or a woman. And I think you were pretty scared if you're a man or woman throughout Doctor Who. I really don't remember this. And I've seen Doctor Who a lot. I'm trying to remember, this overt sexism where women are intrinsically lesser than men. I'm struggling. I just keep thinking of the exact opposites of, Joe Grant, Sarah Jane, Liz Shaw, Leela, Tegan, all these people are completely three-dimensional, actualized, and they completely pass the Bechdel test, right? I don't know what they're talking about. I really don't know what they're talking about. Zoe, all these people are have extraordinary abilities. Susan, Ben and Polly are probably the one of the most ordinary companions in from the original run. Ben, Polly, and Ace, they're all other than Ben and Polly went to the lamest club. The Doctor found them in the lamest club in the 1960s. That was a Hellfire Club. Although I did like that. You know what? Now I'm thinking about. I love the scenes of William Hartnell in there though. It just kind of worked. I like that. More of that, please. That's fun. Okay, wait. Started to become a thing. However, one Doctor Who story in particular was very creepy. The first Doctor abducted Barbara White and in Cheston after they accidentally stumbled into the TARDIS. Yeah, it was defining the character at the time. They wanted to give him a bit of an evil edge. You don't know who he was. It was exciting. It was strange. It was weird. It was something that made you want to watch. It wasn't bland. And again, blandness more than anything else describes the current era of Doctor Who. Just blandness. Boring. Believing that it would be dangerous for them to let them out after they've seen the TARDIS. Kidnapping people is hardly of a heroic value. Exactly. And over the course of that story, the dynamic of everything changes, and the Doctor starts to it's because of his interaction with In and Barbara. The Doctor starts to embrace his more human side, but it has to start off at a very, very cold place, a very cold and calculating place. This is just nonsense. Oh my God! Treatment of Ace, I think probably one of the best treated characters. Yeah, Sylvester McCoy's Doctor did mess with her head a lot. I just watched not Ghostlight, which I love, Curse of Fenric a few weeks ago. And the Doctor is messing with Ace's head, but that's the Seventh Doctor. He messed with everybody for the greater good. But was it really the greater good? I guess if you're a Time Lord, you can make that judgment. If you live outside of time, maybe you can make that. But he was, Sylvester McCoy's Doctor was a bit dickish, but not to Ace, to freaking everybody. He talked a freaking Dalek to death. Okay, that's a bit of a Machiavellian guy. And again, Sylvester McCoy's era, I'm thinking proportionally probably more classics in that era. They got a good 60% of their stories are absolute classics, right? Can you say that about other Doctors? I don't know. That's going to be an interesting study too. Okay, despite the fact that Doctor Who was cancelled in 1999, many of the elements from the final few seasons would persist into the show's revival in 2005. That is actually true. Survival just goes straight into Rose, right? Survival is very contemporary London drama with aliens, goes straight into thematically very, very straight into Rose. In particular, the character Ace would be a blueprint for many Doctor's companions to follow. She was very relatable. It was very naturalistic. Ace and Rose pretty similar. She wasn't similar to Martha. Certainly not similar to, I guess, a younger Donna maybe. Not really similar to Donna. Not similar to Amy. I think closest to Amy, right? Maybe. Closer to Amy and Rory. Certainly not similar to Clara. No, Clara's a very different character. Then you have Bill Potts. Bill Potts, okay, is pretty... Bill Potts, I think, is probably the most similar companion to Ace, right? However... For some reason, the Seventh Doctor seemed to insist on mentally torturing the poor woman. Okay, what he was trying to do was make her into the person that he wanted, that he knew she could be, and make her into the best version of herself. And by doing, he was essentially getting her to confront her fears and process them. He was trying to get her to get over traumas that she had, taken in to herself. Bit of a dick move. I'm not going to argue. A bit of a dick move, But yeah, I think he would do it to anyone. It's not just Ace. He took her on an alleged haunted house that had haunted Ace for years, and even insisted on Ace taking Ace to meet the mother she hates. Exactly, and it made Ace into a stronger, better person, right? It was just good. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was painful, and I have to say, I think the blue checkmarks on Twitter are these kids who who live there. One of the things they think is the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever is pain and discomfort. That is the most terrible thing they can imagine happening to them, and they don't understand that you need pain and discomfort to become a better person. There is no growth. There is nothing of worth and meaning you can do without sacrifice and pain, which is why they're all so freaking pathetic, right? They're all so pathetic. Historical inaccuracy. Okay. Would that fly today? I don't think so. I mean, listen, did it fly in in Gladiator, which was reasonably historically inaccurate? I was listening to, Ridley Scott talking on the making of that one time, and he was like saying, "Yeah, look, this was wrong, but we're making entertainment, not a textbook. We're getting it basically right." Which for me, I think as an approach, I think is good because it's going to get people. If it does spark an interest in the subject, it'll send somebody to do greater research into it. But if you stick to like rigid historical accuracy, you're gonna end up with a little bit more boring a show. One of the most iconic elements of Doctor Who is the show's ability to educate viewers of the past. In recent times, this has included the Doctor meeting former historical figures such as Vincent van Gogh and Winston Churchill. Yeah, you want to tell me that depiction of Winston Churchill, who knew about the Doctor, spaceships, and aliens, that's historically accurate? Okay, fine. Oh, good. Or Van Gogh, who was stalked by an invisible monster. Again, it dealt with the themes of it well. It dealt with the themes of mental illness very well. But not entirely historically freaking accurate, is it, morons? However, while the modern Doctor appears to take care with his interpretation of the past, yeah, you haven't seen it, have you? The classic show played fast and loose with history. Most blazing example is it came in the Time Meddlers when the first Doctor was holding a horned Viking helmet, even though Vikings did not have horns on their helmet. Yes, get over it. They were talking to schoolboys. Not because they were talking to schoolboys and they had the trope that Vikings had horns on their helmet. I don't know where that came from, but they're talking to their audience and not boring the bloody audience. Story format. Let's see what story format is. The modern Doctor Who format has overarching series combined with several standalone episodes. Okay, that may or may not further an overall story. Yeah. However, Doctor Who serials of yesteryear did not follow that format. They did sometimes. Keita Time, the McCoy years. They had themes that went from story to story. Instead, the old story had one story that lasted across several episodes, with one serial lasting for 12 episodes. Yeah, one time. Yeah, in 1965. What's your point? Yeah. Okay, fine. That I agree. They also, if they make it in black and white for no apparent reason, probably won't work. Won't go down so well. Although, you know what I wish they would do? Oh man, I think Big Finish should do this. A crowdsourcing campaign to film a reconstruction of, say, Marco Polo, and have David Bradley and the whole Venture in Time and Space crew take on the roles. I just use the original script. Do it like the Mission to the Unknown. That really proved that sort of thing could work. I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. Okay, genocide. Okay, so I think one time genocide happened was Terror of the Vervoids, and there were 6 of them. And the Doctor wasn't so happy about it. Recently, particularly during the 10th Doctor's run, genocide had been the Doctor's biggest hate. Really? God, can you write? This was spelled out in early episode of the Doctor's Daughter. With the 10th Doctor giving an impassioned speech on the matter. Yeah, genocide, generally speaking, is quite bad. However, the Doctor didn't feel this way throughout his life. During the 6th Doctor's run, the Trial of Time Lord, write out a species of sentient plant known as Vervoid. Okay, so that's the one thing you picked out after they were eating an entire ship worth of people. It was, and he was put on trial for his life for that, if you recall. Abandoning Sarah Jane. Oh, I just got the season 14 Blu-ray, and that's the next thing I'm going to watch. Our Sarah Jane. It's a documentary about Liz Sladen. I'm told you got to have a box of tissues handy. Sarah Jane, played by the late great Elizabeth Sladen, is one of the most iconic Doctor companions of all time. The companion most well-known for traveling with the 3rd and 4th Doctor. The companion most well-known for traveling the 3rd and 4th... No, the companion most well-known for traveling the 3rd Doctor is Jo Grant, morons, or the Brigadier, not Sarah Jane. Whenever you mention Sarah Jane to a normie, who basically knows a bit about Doctor Who, they go, oh, she travelled with the 3rd Doctor too, with John Purdy, I didn't know. Yeah, 4th Doctor, yeah, very, very iconic. Again, why is this person writing an article about something he really doesn't know? Like, okay, it just seems like, bit of a weird, bit of weird choice to make. However, the Doctor abandoned Sarah Jane Smith before his visit to Gallifrey without even a goodbye. Yeah, this was a really heavy. It was a really good dramatic moment, and it really highlighted the aloofness and the alienness of Tom Baker's Doctor. But that's something that stayed with him. Like look what happened when David Tennant's Doctor met with her again, and it was. It was quite touching. Quite. I love that episode, school reunion. Yeah, the emotion comes out. She thought she was dead. And look, from Doctor's point of view, it must be very painful to him. He loves these people. He loves his companions. I really believe he totally loves his companions. Because I believe the Doctor to be a fundamentally loving character, right? I believe he loves his companions. And I think it's very painful for him to move on. So that's basically how how that Doctor coped with it. Clearly, ghosting is far from a modern phenomena, with the Doctor delivering classic examples of Sarah Jane. Jesus, this guy is grasping at straws. Sexism. Okay, let's hear what the morons have to say. Let's face it, Doctor Who was set in motion by the actions of women. Yeah, okay, we know that. Variety Lambert helped make the show into what it is today, insisting on repeating the first ever episode of the series after it performed badly due to JFK's assassination. Fine. Despite all this, there are several sexist elements that persisted through the earlier seasons of the show. Yes? Give me an example, please. I really want to know. What is it again? The only one I can really think of is Patrick Troughton saying, "Could he go and make the tea to Polly?" If that's the best you got, if that is the best you got, then you don't have much. You do not have much. Despite this, there are several sexist elements that persisted through the early seasons. William Hartnell's run in particular was blighted with the Doctor even threatening to spank his granddaughter Susan. Really? Are you sure you're not just taking that from Twice Upon a Time? And he was a grandfather. That was okay. Okay, that's not sexist. He would spank his grandson as well, I guess. Yeah, I'm assuming we're using spank in the literal term, not the metaphoric term. But I always said if I ever get a pet monkey, I'm so calling it Spank. Okay, I'm calling that thing Spank the monkey. But that's probably why my wife will never let me get a pet monkey. Racism, really. Again, I disagree with you fundamentally. You're going to pull out Talons of Wen Chiang. Again, utter morons. This was based on, I think more than anything, a supply and demand issue rather than I don't like people from China issue. It's just so stupid, right? This was a completely normative practice of the day. And I don't believe it was meant to be hateful or demeaning, right? People say, "Oh, yellow face, like blackface." I get it. Blackface is meant to poke fun at black people, right? It's meant to go, "Oh, look, they're so funny." I get that. I get that why it's offensive. But if somebody's playing, if somebody's playing Othello, for example, and it's like 1952 in London, and you don't have anybody black. If you have like John Gould, you have a great actor who will take it on. And there wasn't a black actor to do that. Then I think that's basically par for the course. I mean, that's certainly how Othello was played in England up until, I don't know, probably 90s. I don't know. Okay, let's see really what they got to say. Idiots. Doctor Who made huge strides with the inclusivity of late. Yeah, no, it hasn't. It's gone backwards. I think these last two seasons are the only ones that haven't had a fully formed three-dimensional female characters or black or Asian characters. I really genuinely do. These characters are two-dimensional and they're boring. Again, they don't work. We could, because they fall into the trope of I was saying with the Boba Fett comic. Well, they got to have representation, right? They got to have representation, but they can't have any adversity. Nothing bad can happen to them, right? And if you try and squeeze in any character development, any adversity it had to be in the past where they've already overcome it. Martha Jones was the first black companion, and this was even followed. It was Mickey. Mickey was a black companion, wasn't he? What about Brigadier Bambera? Again, you're talking about the changing demographics of a country. Yes, there were less black actors in, especially actors of the experience who would able to be to highlight a show. But I think whenever it was possible to put a black actor in, they could. I mean, listen, 10th Planet. You had the one of the actors. One of the astronauts, being black, which was kind of 66. That was kind of like a very bold statement. I don't think Doctor Who has ever shied away from people who were non-white males, right? I can't think of a time when it did. So it hasn't made great strides, you moron. And even followed the latest season of Doctor Who with Joe Martin playing the first black Doctor, which is why she was hired, which is why it's racist. It's racist! Yeah, like, we're going to have a black Doctor. Okay, very good. And listen, honestly, I think if they were going to make an issue of that and have a black Doctor, the time to do that would have been mid-80s, right? Instead of Colin Baker, and okay, don't get me wrong, Colin Baker, love you, baby, but that would have been the time when it would actually meant something, right? That's when that social change was going down, those early 80s. By the late 80s, anybody walking around saying they didn't like you because your skin color was a weirdo. Nobody wanted to go near anybody like that. However, the show was still had an uncomfortable history with the treatment of ethnic minorities. Most notorious example of this comes from Talons of Wen Chiang, which had several white actors in yellow face. Moron. And frequent use of racial Asian slurs. Yes, this is what, again, Robert Holmes and Philip Hinchcliffe were trying to depict a reasonably accurate representation of life in the late 19th century London, right? Yeah, that which had racist Asian slurs. You know what? You want to pretend it never happened? And again, yesterday, your idiot article was saying that Doctor Who never dealt with British racism. And now when they do, you ignore it because you're a moron. You are a moron. Whoever wrote this is a moron. The rampant racism in the episode, there was none. Even led to the creation of the BritBox to include a trigger warning. Listen, honestly, I think you're going to need a trigger warning if you're going to see a baby being beaten to death with a hammer. And anything other than that, you should grow a pair, really. I really do. And no, I'm not assuming your gender. Before the episode on the streaming service. Strangling a companion. And I say, listen, I'm always happy for them to put a picture of Nicola Bryant in from Doctor Who, because she's normally not wearing much, right? She's not, and if she is, it's normally a bit clingy. So yeah, I'm down for it. So strangling a companion. It was a post-regenerative trauma, really. Colin Baker's Sixth Doctor is far from the most popular Doctor, more popular than 13. However, it will be unfair to lay the blame at Baker's feet. Instead, blame should be plainly placed on the writers, with the Baker's era representing a downturn in the show's popularity overall. My theory is it's the souring of the relationship between John Nathan Turner and Eric Saywood is what led there. Immediately after regenerating, the Sixth Doctor would attack and strangle his companion Perry, which certainly didn't endear this version of Doctor among fans. We were scratching our heads, okay? We were scratching our heads at that one. Yeah, okay, so, oh boy. 38 minutes of that bollocks. Yes. So again, the takeaway hasn't really changed. Don't go around talking about things you really don't know much about. And if you are compelled to that, don't write whole articles about it either, because you're just going to sound like a moron. I believe it was Oscar Wilde. that said it is better to keep one's mouth shut and have all around you believe you to be a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. Which they've done here is very much on Screenrant. My name is Cedar Becken, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.